In the complex fabric of life, intelligence shines like a lighthouse, illuminating the world with its light. But this same light often casts a long and lonely shadow. The ability to think deeply, to question and understand, can leave a person alone on the edge of conventional thought. A mind full of new ideas, connections and perspectives can struggle to exist in a world that values conformity over complexity. An individual blessed or perhaps burdened with a sharp mind can find themselves alone among familiar faces. This feeling of loneliness isn't simply due to social awkwardness or differing interests. It goes to the root of how we perceive and interact with the world. For the most intelligent people, the world can seem like a puzzle box with thousands of intricate locks, each requiring a different key to open it. Before we continue, don't forget to like this video, share it, and subscribe to our channel. Every week we bring you inspiring stories in under 10 minutes so you can learn essential life-changing lessons. For those accustomed to understanding complex concepts and dissecting intricate arguments, everyday social interactions can seem frustratingly superficial. Small talk, clichés, and the need to simplify ideas can be a tiring experience. It's like they're constantly adapting, dimming the intensity of their thoughts to fit in with social norms. Imagine being in a room full of people but feeling alone. Your thoughts are deep, complex, while the conversations around you are shallow. It can be exhausting, as if you constantly have to translate your thoughts into simple sentences for others to understand. It's like forcing a talented musician to play a simple children's song over and over again. The melody is familiar, but the lack of depth irritates the soul. Imagine having the ability to compose symphonies but being asked to play simple tunes. This disconnect often creates a deep sense of loneliness, like being on an island surrounded by a sea of people, but with no one able to reach you. Imagine having a vast library of thoughts, observations and perspectives, but no one to share it with. Your inner richness remains invisible, hidden from the world. Communication, so essential to the human experience, becomes an arduous task. Every word, every sentence must be carefully chosen to avoid misunderstandings. Seen through an extraordinary mind, the world can appear both wonderfully complex and tragically ordinary at the same time. Every situation, every encounter has layers of meaning that others may not perceive. This duality of perception, this constant shift between fascination and frustration, reinforces the feeling of being different. An outsider who can analyze the world but never fully inhabit it, like an eternal observer, always on the periphery, never at the center. This inherent tension between the intelligent individual and the world was well understood by the 19th century German philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer. His philosophy, deeply rooted in pessimism, offers a unique perspective on human nature and our inner struggles. Schopenhauer believed that human existence is driven by a blind and insatiable force he called the will. This will is not just the driving force behind our actions, but a fundamental force that shapes all aspects of our lives. Schopenhauer, known for his pessimistic view of the world, argued that all existence is controlled by a blind and insatiable force he called the will. According to him, the will is what drives us to constantly struggle, to continuously seek a satisfaction that can never be fully achieved. No matter how much we achieve or how much pleasure we experience, a feeling of emptiness persists, as the will can never be completely satisfied. He believed that this will is what pushes us to constantly struggle, to incessantly seek a satisfaction that can never be full. In today's world, this can be observed in our constant pursuit of material possessions, status, and recognition. People move through life with a sense of urgency, always looking for something more, something better. But despite all our efforts, the feeling of emptiness often persists. According to Schopenhauer, intelligence provides a unique and unsettling insight into this relentless will. It allows us to recognize the futility of our efforts and to see the world as it truly is. Intelligent people often feel set apart from the rest of society because they are aware of deep truths that most people overlook. By endowing us with self-awareness and critical thinking, Intelligence allows us to see the inherent futility of our desires, the ultimately meaningless cycle of yearning and pleasure that defines human existence. This awareness can be liberating, as it helps us distance ourselves from the endless pursuit of satisfaction. But at the same time, it can also make us deeply aware of our isolation. This understanding, while liberating in some ways, can also be deeply isolating. Intelligent people often feel different and alone because they are aware of profound truths that most people ignore. This awareness can create a sense of alienation and isolation, as intelligent people see the world in a way that differs from others. This separates the intelligent individual from the masses, who are mostly unaware of the true nature of their motivations. While most people live their lives in pursuit of pleasure and satisfaction, intelligent people often recognize the futility of these efforts. This awareness can be both a burden and a gift, as it provides a deep understanding of human nature and the world around us. As Schopenhauer himself said, "The smarter a man is, the more likely he is to be alone." This statement reflects a profound truth about human nature and our search for meaning. Intelligence allows us to see the world as it is, but it can also make us aware of our isolation and loneliness. Ultimately, Schopenhauer's philosophy reminds us of the complexity of human existence and our inner struggles. To understand why society often views intelligence with suspicion or fear, we must examine the appeal of conformity. Conformity is deeply rooted in human nature. Since the beginning of time, people have gathered in communities, seeking safety and mutual support. This need for belonging and acceptance has shaped our social structures and norms. For many people, there's a sense of comfort and security in shared beliefs, in sharing the same values and goals. When everyone agrees, there's less conflict, less insecurity. The unconditional acceptance of familiar routines and social norms provides a sense of stability. The crowd offers a feeling of belonging, a refuge from the uncertainties and anxieties of individual existence. In this environment, everyone knows their place and their role. But what happens when someone starts asking questions? When someone starts to question those norms and routines? Intelligence, with its tendency to question, analyze, and challenge the status quo, poses a threat to this comfortable illusion. It disrupts the established order, introduces doubt where there was once certainty, and exposes the flaws in our cherished assumptions. Intelligent people often see the world differently, notice details that others miss, and ask questions that others don't. It's a disruptive force, and therefore often encounters resistance. This resistance can manifest in many ways, from subtle social cues to open hostility. An intelligent person might be called arrogant, eccentric, or simply too smart for their own good. Their ideas may be ignored, ridiculed, or deliberately misinterpreted. The goal, consciously or unconsciously, is to neutralize the threat to the comfortable equilibrium of the group. Society often prefers the status quo because it provides predictability and stability. But without those who question, who challenge, and who seek something better, progress is not possible. Intelligence is what drives us forward, what pushes us to reconsider our assumptions and find new ways of doing things. This resistance to intelligence, to those who don't fit in, can be deeply rooted in the fear of the unknown, fear of change, fear of loss of control. But it's these very people, these thinkers and innovators, who bring change, who push us to grow and evolve. Without them, society would stagnate, trapped in its own limitations. Intelligent people often pay a price for their differences, but their courage and persistence are what move us forward. Their ability to see the world differently, to ask questions and seek answers, is what makes us human. Their ideas may be ignored, ridiculed, or deliberately misinterpreted, but their value is immeasurable. Mockery and rejection often reflect the fear and insecurity of those who fear change. The goal, consciously or unconsciously, is to neutralize the perceived threat to the comfortable balance of the group. But it is this very threat that pushes us to grow, to change, and to progress. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more helpful summaries and tips. Your support means a lot to us.